How did our recent rain spell affect your home? The owner of the real estate inspection company is here to the rescue. Please welcome Philippe Heller.
He's back.
Love to be here.
Philippe Heller is here. What's up, my man?
It's been a busy month with all the rain and real estate's picking up again. So
they told us that that the drought is over, but at the expense of a lot of people's roofs, including your own, right?
Including mine, yes. We learned the hard way that that it does rain in San Diego, and roofs are an important feature of a house.
It's not just to keep you shaded from the sun.
That's right.
They're actually to protect you from the elements too.
That's true.
So what is it that, I mean, because I had so many people that I know who were writing on Facebook, or people I had appointments with, and they're like, sorry, leaky roof, I have to go deal with it. One guy just had his roof redone last year.
Oh, wow.
And he has major damage in his house. I mean, it's a major deal. So you guys inspect more homes in San Diego than anybody. When you're looking at these roofs, or when people are thinking about their roof, which they are probably now more so than they were before, what are the things they should be considering or looking at?
Well, first of all, houses are not waterproof. You know, there's no house that is a boat. You know, so given the right circumstances, any roof can leak. Wind-driven rain, we don't get a lot of wind here. It's not like Florida. They have different styles of roofs that they put in. There's a lot more consideration about where the vents are with regards to the wind patterns and whatnot. But one of the things that determines the effectiveness of a roof can be the age of the house or the roof itself. There are different materials, obviously. There's asphalt shingles, there's tile roofs, there's flat roofs that we have here, and each one of those roofs has a lifespan. And if not properly maintained, when you get to, just like your car, you know, if you get to the end of that lifespan and we get a heavy rain like we just had, you're going to notice that water finds its way in.
So there's no one roof type that's better than the other, or no, you know, because you mentioned several different kinds there.
Well, it depends. It's all about cost and longevity. So you can have a slate roof like on a castle in Europe. You just came back from Europe, probably saw a few castles.
Yeah.
Those roofs can last 100 years or more if they're installed properly, and the slate never wears out. But they're very expensive today to put a slate roof on a house. You can do a very inexpensive home with asphalt shingle roofs that last 20 years. They're not hard to put in. You could have it done in a couple of days, but they're only going to last about 20 years. And in the sun, in some areas of San Diego, they won't even last that long.
Yeah.
But they're cheaper to put in.
They're very thin too.
Yep.
I mean, it's not that difficult to puncture.
We've actually found in some parts of San Diego, and I'm not going to name them, but where people shoot guns in the air on New Year's, we've actually found rounds piercing roofs, roof material.
Seriously?
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
That's scary.
A couple of times, yeah. But at least the roof stopped it.
Oh my, bulletproof roof. But still can't stop the rain.
Yes.
Because water's tough.
It is.
Water's tough, and every place there's water, when you guys are doing an inspection, that's always like the big consideration. Where's moisture?
Sure.
Where's water running? Is it getting out of where it's supposed to be? The roof is one thing that's really tough for you to test as an inspector. You can't just go up there and pour buckets of water on the roof.
That's right. We don't water test. It'd be great if we could have a fire truck come in and spray the house while we're there, but that's not realistic. So we have to look for evidence of leaks, of past leaks. That's the only way a home inspector, other than, you know, if we get on the roof or with our pole cameras, we can see broken or missing tiles or, you know, obvious defects in the roof. Obviously, we would call that out. But if a roof looks good from up top, then the next step is to go inside the home, look for physical staining or you know, some sort of feature inside the house that would indicate, or in the attic, that it had leaked in the past, and then we make the recommendation that way.
I would think that probably the number one piece of advice would be like, hey, don't ignore a small leak, right?
Absolutely, because they never get better.
Yeah.
They always get worse. And, you know, if your house, even if you have a tile roof, which is very common in San Diego, your standard concrete tile roof, and your house was built in the mid-'80s or even the early 90s, you are probably facing having to do the underlayment very soon. And that's where I'm at. My house is about 30 years old, and the paper underneath the tiles is just worn away because I live in Ramona and there's a lot of sun, and so the oil impregnated paper is just deteriorated now. And so there's no water repellency left in the paper. And all the tiles have to come up, new paper, and, you know, redo the roof essentially.
Okay. And so that's something to not be really ignored here. I mean, at least one of the people that I talked to who had a roof issue during this last rain, and this rain was pretty crazy. Like, we don't normally see something like this. but man, if it gets to you, boy, does it get to you. So this guy, he ignored a warning sign. When rain first started, he had a little leak, and so he didn't do enough about it. Let's put it that way. And then now he has a mess on his hands. I mean, they're having to pull out drywall and redo rooms, and I mean, it's just in the bedrooms too.
Yeah.
So it's never fun. Let's put it that way. It's never fun to have a leaky roof, and you normally don't have to worry about it. But what are some of the things, like he just had a new roof installed the year before? So I mean, does that even matter?
That's an installation defect, and I'm not familiar with that, so I don't know. Somebody installed something incorrectly. And he needs to work with the roofer who did that. Now, when you have unusual high winds, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. Water's just going to blow in through a vent or something, and sometimes you just can't avoid it. But a properly installed roof really shouldn't leak. Now, when we do home inspections and the house is 20, 25 years or more, and it looks like the roof has never been replaced, we will notify the buyers because it's something they need to consider. It may not be leaking today, but within 5 years, they certainly are going to be faced with some repairs on the roof.
I wonder how many people who've had solar installed. That's been a huge issue. Roofs and solar just seem to not be going well together.
I have that. I have solar panels,
Okay.
which will, at least the panels will need to come up if the paper on that side of the roof needs to be replaced, which I'm going to do. And that is one problem with a lot of the solar companies, the way that's structured. We could do a whole other show on that, which I would like to, because a lot of them have gone out of business. And the people going around the neighborhoods knocking on doors and doing the installations, people would ask, is my roof suitable for solar, or should I redo it before you put it? And they always said, no, because they were so hungry to just get that solar array installed and signed off. They got their money, handed off the contract to somebody else, and they went out of business or sold or whatever. So they're immune to the
So you're
leaks
saying
right now.
they were basically putting solar on bad roofs. Roofs that needed to be
absolutely.
replaced.
Yep.
They're installing solar on those roofs.
Correct.
Putting more holes in the bad roof.
Correct.
That's-
Instead of just saying, hey, at least let's repaper this section so that you don't have to deal with it, they just said, oh no, everything's fine, and they would put the solar panels on. And so now if we do have problems, the panels need, and it's not the end of the world, they just need to come off, but it's an extra expense that you're going to be faced with in doing your roof.
Yeah, and if that is the case, unfortunately, you probably had some issues with the recent rains. These were unrelenting downpours like I've never seen here.
Yes, parts of San Diego got up to 8.5 inches of rain in 4 or 5 days, which is almost what we get in an entire year. We get about 9 inches on average, and we got that in a few days. Flooded some houses too.
Flooded some houses, fixed the drought. I know down here, there's a low-lying area down by that little driving range that was just a complete mudslide.
Yes.
So there was some really interesting stuff that happened, but all those things, and it's a good opportunity to really look and see if you have water accumulating in areas, right? When it does rain like this, up against the house or near the house, which can cause other bigger problems.
Yes, correct. Prior to the winter, people should go around their homes, look at the roof, get any leaves or debris that may have fallen and collected in any of the crevices of the roof, the valleys and whatnot, the rain gutters. If you don't have rain gutters, you should really look into getting them. They're not expensive. You can get nice seamless gutters put up, and what that does is it catches the rain and moves it away from the base of the house instead of having it just all the water that collects on your roof pouring down on the side. And it's extra important, especially if you have a crawl space. You want to keep the water out of the crawl space. So we highly recommend gutters, which are not required in San Diego. And like you said, make sure that the dirt around the home or the pavement or pavers or whatever are sloped away from the home so that water is directed away. And check your yard drains. Do all that before the rains hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are things you can do now to
Yes.
make sure that you don't have problems.
Well, now
later.
might be a little late. You should have done that about 4 weeks ago, but yeah, before the winter, a couple times a year you should get that. Also, if you have a roof that has a big thick layer of leaves on it, the other effect that can have is it traps moisture in the roofing material, which can further degrade the roof. So roofs should shed water and dry out. And if you have a thick layer of leaves on there, that moisture stays in there and can rot your roofing material and the underlayment very quickly.
You know, one thing that's interesting here in San Diego that I've never seen anywhere else is all the flat roofs that we have. those seem to be problematic in situations like this. I mean, it's very difficult to have a perfectly flat roof.
Well, they're not flat. They are always, or should at least have a slope or some sort of crowning so that water is directed. Even on a huge retail store, a big box store, Home Depot or something, you know, they're giant flat roofs. But really, they are peaked and valleyed so that water is directed off of them. Otherwise, it would just become a huge lake and it would collapse. So it's all directed towards scuppers, which are the roof drains. And again, if you have trees nearby, you need to go up there or hire somebody to do so and get the leaves off of there, because if those get blocked, it will fill up and will absolutely find its way into your home.
Yeah, no question.
So flat roofs are fine, but they have them even in snow country, and sometimes they collapse when too much snow gets up there.
Yeah, well, we saw a lot of snow too that came with these rains.
did.
Bear Mammoth got an insane amount of snow.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the pictures I saw online were just crazy.
That's right.
Anything else that people should know about roofs or preparing for the next potential downpour here in San Diego?
I would say, just like so many things, is walk around your house, use your judgment, clean your gutters, you know, just look at your home. And certainly if you have experience, we do get big rains periodically. So if you know that you've got some grading problems or drainage problems, we've had some friends who even bought sump pumps because their house is flooded numerous times. The water would come in on their patio and just couldn't get directed away. And so they added some pumps to assist in that. So, you know, just make sure your house is clear of debris and that the drainage is good. And you can even test some of that with a garden hose, and just imagine, instead of a garden hose, that you have a fire hose during the rain, and try and preempt any of those problems.
Fantastic stuff. Philippe Heller from the Real Estate Inspection Company. Good to see you, my friend.
Always.
Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.